Let's make some noise. Come on.
Thank you, yes, and wow. Thank you, yes, indeedy, Nick Foles. Let's make some noise. Welcome back, everybody, to another rousing episode of the Final Word on the It's a Rap Sports Network with your boy MattyB on the call. Hump Day, as so to speak, I guess. Wednesday. Do you still call it Hump Day? I used to call that when I was a kid, but we're back. We're back, baby. Wednesday night edition of the program. Hope all is well out there with you guys, and I hope everybody is having an outstanding Wednesday night. I spent some time today trying to figure out how I was going to approach this show because the way we do things here on this network, or I should say the way I do things on this show, is just a little bit different than normal people do. I really think that the Phillies are still a hot topic. Not so much talking about what happened to the end of the season, but what's the next steps. And then we've been sort of unpacking that all week, and we're going to continue to unpack that. But of course, we got to balance that with the Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are, high gear preparation now for the Minnesota Vikings, week 7, very important football game up in Minnesota. And last night, I never got a chance because of all the Phillies talk to get into the Eagles as much as I wanted to. So tonight, I'm leading off with the Eagles. We're going to lead off our topic tonight, our discussion with the Eagles. And as the show title says, we're going to party like it's 2023, folks, because we got some news that we're going to go over. Some player personnel issues. Apparently, somebody was quoted inside that Eagle locker room by saying that they have a feeling that they're feeling like it's 2023 again. So we're definitely going to unpack that. We're also going to continue to unpack this fan base's extreme case of denial when it comes to this football team. And all the excuses I've heard over the last 2 days about why this team is struggling goes from the idiotic to the moronic and then back again. And we're definitely unpack some of that as well. Flyers, we'll be back at it tomorrow night. Nothing really much to talk about there, but of course, the Phillies in our off-season plan continues. I am going to give you a special treat tonight, folks. We're going to unpack the second base position. We're going to unpack the shortstop position, and we're also going to unpack that third base. We're going to knock out the infield tonight as I continue to lay out my plan, MattyB's plan for the reconstruction of the Philadelphia Phillies. So we're going to definitely get into some hot Phillies topics again, and anything else that you guys would like to bring up onto the table, to also include our of the night, the card review and your day in Philadelphia sports history, all those wonderful things that we do here on the network and on this show. So let's get at it here. The Clifton Heights Boys Club. The hell is the Clifton Heights Boys Club? Well, they're saying go Birds and go It's a Rap Sports Network. Thank you, whoever you are, Al. Joe Hale says, hey, everyone. Joe, what's going on? Al and his burner accounts, man. The Clifton Heights Boys Club. I guess that's the football team that Al's involved in out there. Good for you, Al. I'm glad you're giving back to the community, big guy. God knows community service should have been your calling, as you are a very communal person, and you like people, unlike I, who cannot stand people. So I'm glad to see that you're heavy into football, but the clock is ticking, big boy. December's coming. You know what that means. So, but no, we're gonna have some fun tonight. So let's get it going with first talking a little bit about this fine network. As the Clifton Heights Boys Club has said, go, It's a Rap Sports. And here we are. We're coming to the end of our Wednesday night spectacular. Props, Locks, and Parlays was the leadoff show tonight. Then we did some Pittsburgh sports desking. And then you're finishing up with me tomorrow. A chalk-filled night on the network, starting with a 4:45-ish Steel City Sunday pregame show as the boys will cut up and get you ready for the Steelers and the Bengals, as they will be on Thursday Night Football tomorrow. I then will be in at 5 o'clock. I'm going to be stepping all over those guys at 5 o'clock because that's the new time of the Birds Blast. We had to move it again. Scheduling difficulties, but we can make that happen. So 5 o'clock tomorrow, the Birds Blast will be seen in its entirety. 8 o'clock, the Gridiron Weekly. Then we got some Clear the Ice with the Flyers and the Jets. I'll be coming on sometime after the post game around 10:30-ish for the final word. And then following me at around 11:30 will be your Steel City post-game show. So big night on the network tomorrow as we get ready for the fantabulous weekend with the wraparound on Friday. The Attacking Third going to its new temporary time slot of Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock and the Penn State, Iowa, Happy Valley Huddle. You know, in all the Penn State stuff, who the hell is the new head coach? Did I miss something? No one's talking about, is it the offensive coordinator? Who's taking over as the new head coach in an interim basis? And then you got the Flyers and Wild as well on the Clear the Ice program on Saturday night. So we're switching it into high gear as we roll into the weekend. So make sure that you're sticking with us through thick and thin. And let's get into our day in Philadelphia. Oh, yeah, let's strap it off, strap it in, strap it on. Keep your heads, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And here we go with your day in Philadelphia sports history. Ed Tepper and Earl Foreman. He's not the Sausage King of Chicago, by the way. Created the Major Indoor Soccer League, the MISL, the Missile. The Philadelphia Fever was the first of 6 franchises to be developed by the league. In 1982, Lakers owner Jerry Buss purchased the team and moved the new Los Angeles Lasers out west. It wasn't until 96 that indoor soccer returned to the city of Philadelphia with the Philadelphia Kicks with 2 X's, who were 2-time Missile champions in 02 and 07 before shutting the league down after the 2010 season. For those of you that are really old and actually remember the Fever, which I am one of them, I remember watching Philadelphia Fever games on like Channel 17 on Saturday nights. They would throw down the old artificial carpet over the Spectrum ice, and they would go at it in the indoor soccer league. The Fever had a kick-ass logo, a really cool logo. And it was a shame because I know that it's an indoor soccer league franchise name, but when the MLS, the Major League Soccer thing started with the Union, I would have loved the Union to have been called the Fever because it would have paid some homage to a team that came, again, maybe 2 different types of sports, box lacrosse versus lacrosse kind of thing. But the Missile was fun. It was fun for a young kid. When I say young, man, I have vivid memories of watching a game and then going to bed at about 8:30, 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. That's how young I was. I was probably 5 or 6 years old. I swear to God, man, I remember that. I remember that vividly. I don't know why it's stuck in my head, but I have a vivid memory of watching a Philadelphia Fever soccer game on TV and then being told to go to bed at around 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I don't know where my life has gone or what I've done with it and why I retain a memory of the Philadelphia Fever on TV, but I do. And I have it. And, you know, I never said it was easy to be me, but there you go. Welcome to the Missile, everybody. The creation of the Missile, the Major Indoor Soccer League, and the Philadelphia Fever on this day in Philadelphia sports history for all you indoor soccer fans. Again, I don't want to like lump indoor soccer fans and soccer fans together because, and again, I don't know the etiquette here. Maybe I'm wrong. But is it like lumping in lacrosse fans with box lacrosse fans? Is there a line you don't cross there? Are they 2 different inherent sports? I mean, they're not, but does one side hate the other? Does one side resent the other? Does one side say, well, why can't you play on a full regulation field versus the other side saying it's faster, it's funner playing in a condensed surface? I don't know the protocol there. So, but I do remember the Missile, and I remember the Fever. It was a fun time to be a kid in the city of Philadelphia. So there you have your day in Philadelphia sports history. Joe Hale says he remembers the Philadelphia team. I remember it as well, Joe. I actually bought my daughter a T-shirt when she was probably about 10 years old, an old Philadelphia Fever T-shirt. You can find them on eBay to this day. You can find them on eBay. So if you're into old retro logos and sports teams in Philadelphia, go ahead and search yourself out for a Philadelphia Fever shirt and be truly an OG when it comes to that stuff. So there you are. There you are. The Philadelphia Fever and the Missile began on this date back in what year was that? Did I say the year? 77. There you go. So I was 4 in 77. So yeah, man, it might have been around when I was 5 or 6 years old. Oof. All right. There you go. A little dose of morality. Not morality, but immortality here for me to have to kind of get my head around. Amazon has them too. There you go. Joe Hale says Amazon also has some Philadelphia Fever merch for those of you out there that are interested, and I highly suggest you get one. I do. Show your love for some of the things that have gone before you. All right, so let's talk about the Eagles. I did say last night we were going to, the Eagles were on the table, but I just never got to them because of the Phillies conversation was deep. So tonight I'm going to lead off with the Eagles laying low as they should be at this point. Coming off that early week and then the back-to-back losses, had about a mini bye thing going on. They're getting ready for the Vikings, and you're hearing all the right things out of Eagles camp these days from the coaches. They're not panicking, as they should not panic. They're 4-2, but it's funny because today a source reported, and I forget the reporter's name. I saw it at multiple spots that he heard a player or players were starting to say, and it was said that it's got some 2023 vibes to this season right now, and that they're concerned that the meltdown may be being revisited. And again, I'm paraphrasing, of course. And before you guys jump on top of me and throw me up on the cross, as you like to do, I'm not saying it. Now, I've been saying that since about week 3, that this had a 2023 vibe of a season about it, but I'm not the one saying it. And when it's coming out of the Eagles locker room, that's when people need to start paying attention. Because that's the place it really matters where it's coming from. And as we get ready for this very important week, the most important week on Sunday, I pose a question. Do the Eagles need to go out and dominate the Vikings, much like they should have gone out and dominated the Giants? Is this a style points type game for people out there, or are they just going to be satisfied with an Eagles win? The Eagles, of course, have not yet put together a full 60 minutes of football yet. This season, they have not done it. It's not happened. Again, don't get mad at me. I'm not the one not producing. Okay, I'm just reporting on it and enjoying every second of it, honestly. But I'm not the one reporting it, or I'm not the one doing it. I'm just reporting it. Or are you okay if the Eagles go out and trudge and clunk and clank their way through yet another football game, frustrate you both on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball, and come out of this game with just an eeky type win over the Vikings to go to 5-2? I said this question last week on the Birds Blast. I said that the Giants game was a style points type game. It had to have been that way. They had to have gone into New York, and they had to have crushed the Giants underneath their boot heels. Not only did they not do that, they got crushed themselves. And it's funny. And there's a lot of funny things about this. And when I say funny, of course, I mean ironically funny, that the Eagle fan base, this much highly educated, 100% highly educated fan base, has gone from, we are a dynasty. We are on the dawn of the Eagle dynasty. This is it. Clear the runway, folks. Here we come. To now I'm hearing, you know what? Maybe it's okay if we just take a step back. Yeah, it's all right. They're tired. I heard a buffoon. Actually, I've heard multiple buffoons say that part of the problem with the Eagles, and this is an acceptable problem, I guess, is that the team might be tired coming off their Super Bowl run. What kind of nonsense, Homer gospel talk is that? It's acceptable that they're tired coming off of a Super Bowl run? I get it, man. A lot of fans don't want to believe, don't want to see things with their own eyes. I understand that. Trust me, I've been in this fan base long enough. I know how to navigate through it. And I know what the sides are. I understand. I know, the sects or the groups or the cliques. I got all that. But even during my days when I wasn't out on this team, even when I was not out, I would never sit back and make such a goddamn stupid, ignorant excuse for the team than they're tired. I would never say that because I can't even fathom that. Was it a long season last year? Yeah, of course it was. They won the Super Bowl. But to sit here and say that you're going to attribute some of their problems this year because they're tired from last year, I mean, I get it. Homers are homers, man. And God love y'all. I absolutely have a special spot for you in my heart. But I mean, what are you doing to yourself in the morning to make you believe that? That's got to be the most loser thing I've ever heard in my life. Again, even when I wasn't out, I would never say things like that. So the fan base has walked back a lot of their expectation levels on this football team. And I want to understand, is that, justifiable? I mean, we're six lousy games in, 6 games. And I'm going to give you my theory on why they're walking back their expectation levels. It's because they're scared. They're absolutely 100% scared. They're scared because of all their thoughts in the offseason. When they saw what Howie was doing by basically stripping away all the veterans from the defense, essentially that's what he did. And then, rolling the dice with a couple Class B type free agents, hoping to God some draft picks would step up. And then, doing what they did, because he's got to stop kicking the can down the road at some point with the money. And I guess last offseason was that year. They knew it. The homers knew it. They knew it didn't seem right. They knew this wasn't copacetic, man. This is not how you repeat as Super Bowl champions. But no one ever said it. No, they wanted to pat Howie Roseman on the back. Once again, you're doing a great job, blah, 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 and all that. But here we are. The free agent signings on the defense, for the most part, have not worked out. We've had regression from some of our superstars on defense. Zach Bond has regressed or is regressing back to that special teams player from the Saints. The draft picks are not stepping up as expected. And we're saying that the team is too tired. And, of course, now you factor in the injuries. And that's another thing I've heard. We're leaning on the injuries. Again, another loser-ass approach. Well, your GM is supposed to be this otherworldly entity. Creating a depth roster with 53 players on it, I thought Howie Roseman was golden. I thought everything he touched turned to gold. So why should we blame injuries? Yeah, injuries are a part of the game, absolutely. And it needs to be accounted for when you're building your roster. And obviously, Howie, up to this point, has not done a good job with that. Now, I heard no criticism at all launched in his direction, because as soon as you get up and you aim your missiles to the Howie Roseman camp, you get this response. Well, he just won the Super Bowl, and he's won 2 Super Bowls in the last 7 years. Absolutely. And he has an opportunity today in front of him to launch the Eagles dynasty. Are we going to allow that to go by? And are Eagle fans okay with that? I certainly am not. That's what you go into this thing for, to be the best at all times. The other point I want to talk about is, again, losing to the New York Giants 34-17 has got to be one of the most embarrassing things that this team has encountered or gone through in quite some time. But there's been no accountability by the fan base towards that game. I hear when people talk about the Giants game, they're talking as it's an anomaly, a glitch in the matrix. It was their Super Bowl. That's the Giant. Well, guess what, man? Every team, when they play the defending Super Bowl champions, it's going to be their Super Bowl. This is the type of effort you're going to get from these types of teams week in and week out, because you're the defending champs. So to try to justify that performance last Thursday night at the Meadowlands against a team in the Giants that does not deserve to be on the same field as the Eagles, to try to justify a blowout at the hands of the Giants by anything other than there's a problem with this football team, whether you want to say it's Kevin Padula, whether you want to say it's the offensive line, whether you want to say it's Saquon Barkley, whether you want to say it's Jalen Hurts or the defense, whatever it is you want to lean on. But to come out of that Giants game with nothing less than that mentality means that you have some serious problems when it comes to reality in this football team. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you 6 weeks into the season's lost. I am not. But I am also not going to sit here and tell you that you can't ignore that the first 4 games of the year, the Eagles barely won. And let's face it, they barely won. Had a lot of 2023, residue on it. And then the last 2 weeks, when they've been beaten pretty much, it was back and forth with the Broncos. They could have pulled that out, but they didn't. And then they got smashed by the Giants. to go into this week 7 as an Eagle fan with anything other than not panic, but deep concern. You know, you guys like to kind of throw me up under the bus, call me negadelphian, call me too critical. But at least I got the balls to stand up here and say what you're thinking, and you're afraid to speak it. And again, 6 weeks into a season, there's a lot more going on. But it's funny what we're dealing with when it comes to this football team. Quinyon Mitchell was back at practice. So was Jalen Carter. They were all back at practice today. That doesn't mean they're back in the game. That means they're back at practice. I think the Eagles played their best game. But Justin Jefferson scares me. Yeah, Joe, we talked about that last night a little bit about the matchup problems with a dinged-up secondary with Quinyon Mitchell, potentially a game-time decision. And even if he is a go, we talked about this. Is the right thing to go to put him out one-on-one involved with Justin Jefferson. So tomorrow night on the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn, I'm actually reveling in this one because I haven't talked to Kyle since this 2-game losing streak began. And I'm going to have some fun with Kyle tomorrow. I'm going to set him off. I'm just going to purposely go with it to piss him off. But yes. So my takeaway from the Eagles situation. Now we've stopped looking inwards into the team. That's what I've been hearing. There's no more looking at the problems. There's no more critiquing the play of the quarterback, the play of the offensive line, the play of the defensive line. There's no more of that going on. Now we're down to the injuries. They're tired. And teams are playing the Eagles like it's their Super Bowl. That's what we're grasping onto right now. You know, and again, you guys call me crazy. I mean, wow, just amazing, utterly amazing. You cannot one, and I know you see that, and that's what's probably the more frustrating part about all this. I know you see it. Eagles fans are one of the more educated fan bases in the National Football League. I 100% give you that. And I know you see what I see. It comes down to the courage. It comes down to the courage of standing up and saying, I'm not going to accept this type of effort because I can see that the quarterback is a good quarterback, but he's not elite. I can see that the offense is struggling mightily because Saquon Barkley, plain and simple, is not having the type of season he had last year. And that's the biggest thing. You know, some people have come around to that. I'm hearing more and more people mentioning that as a potential flaw with the offense. That's not necessarily a 2025 flaw, but it's a flaw that was masked. That's always been there, but was masked by an outstanding season by Saquon last year. I'm starting to hear people talk about that more openly, and I give those people a round of applause because it takes a lot of courage in this fan base to actually stand up and do that. I've been saying it since the very beginning of the season, since the offseason. I was like, listen, you know, if Saquon does not repeat or replicate or come anywhere close to what he did last year, can this offense pick up the slack? Because in 2023, they couldn't. Through the first 4 games of 2024, they couldn't. And they are the same offense. And now you're seeing that they haven't figured it out yet. But we're going to sit here and analyze all kinds of other things. Like, again, they're tired. They're tired. Oh, man. We're tired because we won the Super Bowl. And the injuries, which, yes, the injuries are a real thing. But so is constructing the roster correctly. So is not jettisoning off all of your defensive veterans in hopes that some Class B free agents and some draft picks are going to step up. That's a real thing, too. So 6 games in, big game on Sunday. Can the Eagles come out of this game and suffer a loss and still maintain their dignity? So it's going to be interesting as we get closer. And, of course, the other big news around the NFL, CJGJ today requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens because, as per his agent, he wants to go to a situation where he can play. Now, of course, we're going to gravitate right towards that. And there is a need for him. I'm not going to sit here and tell you there's not a need for him. He was one of the players that I was very confused of why they moved off of in the offseason. But when they did move off of him, this is what the Homer said. Good riddance. He's a cancer. Good riddance. He doesn't do as much as people think he did. He's a distraction on and off the field. Good riddance. Now the same homers are saying, yeah, I'll take him back. Let's go. Come on back. Come on back. Optically, 3 times. I mean, how many more times have the Eagles got to cut this guy in order to get rid of him? And why do the Eagles find it necessary to constantly rid themselves of this guy and bring him back? So do the Eagles go out and re-sign CJ, GJ, BJ, KJ? Maybe. Maybe they do. Maybe they have no other choice right now. Their secondary is a mess all over the place. And he would bring back a little bit of an edge. Now, the question is, and again, this is another homer trait, maybe he doesn't want to come back. Maybe 2 times or 2 strikes and you're out when it comes to the Eagles. Maybe that's what he's thinking. I ain't going back there. They threw me out of there twice. Why would I go back? I'm glad they're struggling. Maybe they shouldn't have let me go the second time. So we'll wait and see how that all plays out. And of course, money makes all those feelings go away. But we'll wait and see how that goes. But the banged up Eagles, who, as Joe Hale said, are going to be brought, some of the walking wounded did practice today. And how will they fare on the road in Minnesota as they continue on with this season? And yes, let us party like it's 2023, because until proven otherwise, this is 2023 all over again. And I'm not prepared to deal with that in week 6. I mean, I was barely prepared to deal with it back in week 13 when it started in 2023. And now you're talking literally a third of the way into the season. So we'll see. We'll see. The Eagles need an AM edge rusher. What, an edge rusher in the morning? As the Eagles miss Josh Sweat's productivity because they let Josh Sweat go. If the Eagles could try to get Trey Hendrickson, it means Carter can't be double teamed and good pass rush, knocking quarterback's timing off. Yeah, but here's the thing: Hendrickson is not Lavelle Joseph or Ndamukong Suh. Listen, Howie's already mistakenly and wrongly dealt away a lot of his draft picks. He's down to 8 now. I don't know what you think that what Hendrickson's going to cost a lot of draft capital. Are the Eagles prepared to give up that type of capital? And what, again, always makes people think that the Eagles are first in line for all this stuff. No, nobody is. And he's a free agent at the end of the year. I mean, I don't agree to that trade at all. If they can maybe agree to a long-term contract before he gets here, but I don't agree to that trade. And again, what makes everybody think that the Eagles are first in line for all this crap? There's other teams that are going to want them. There's other people going to stand in line and be like, you know what? I'll up the price. Howie's dealt away and misused some of them draft picks. Well, he started the offseason or season 13 of them. He's down to 8. And what we got in return is John Mechie and Tank Bigsby. And we gave up like 4 draft picks in that process of that. Can Howie afford to go, throw some more draft picks out the window? Because again, he's the best GM in the world. I don't want to see him take a hit to his reputation. So, I mean, I'm not saying that that's not a trade they should explore, but I don't have any faith it's going to happen. Bring CJ, GJ, him back to the Eagles. Again, maybe he doesn't want to come back. He's been shown the door twice already. Maybe he's like, screw them. Screw them. Let them struggle. They should never let me go twice. I don't know, man. Maybe it's not as simple as that. Maybe there's people out there that don't want to be involved in this organization. Maybe there's people out there that see different things that we see from this organization. I don't know. I don't think it's as easy as that. Now, granted, as I said, money cures all. Phillies press conference, 11 a.m. Yep, tomorrow the Phillies will, I guess, have their annual what went wrong in the playoff press conference as they'll close out the 2025 season tomorrow. You'll have a chance to talk with Dave Dombrowski, Rob Thompson, and over and under about how many times Dave Dombrowski says, I like our roster. 20? I'm going to set the number at 20. Is it over or under 20 times Dave Dombrowski says he likes his roster? So, well, definitely a must-see event, and we'll talk about it tomorrow night, no doubtedly. So, Ricky says, are the phone lines open tonight? Yeah, maybe, Ricky. We'll see. I got a lot to do, man. Got a lot to get into. We cut open the Eagles a bit. Now we're going to dig into the Philadelphia Phillies as promised here on the Final Word with MattyB. We have been undertaking the reconstruction of this roster in my eyes, as I see it. The Phillies offseason, who stays and who goes and why. We've done the manager. We all said he should go. Well, he didn't. Last night we talked about the first base situation. And in MattyB's scheme, Bryce Harper stays. He remains. But he comes off of first base. Becomes our new DH because Kyle Schwarber goes away. And we bring in Pete Alonso to replace Bryce Harper at first base. So we kind of went into our first, I guess we kind of did two positions yesterday, right? We talked about the DH and first base. Tonight, we're going to continue to unwrap this thing, and we're going to start with second base. We're going to do all three. We're going to finish the infield, second, short, and third base, as my plan will begin to take shape after we get through our segment tonight. So looking forward to that. Cannot wait to do the phone lines tomorrow instead of tonight. Yeah, we'll maybe we'll do them both nights. Joe, tell me what to do. Ugh. But all right, let's get into this. Let's get into our Phillies off-season plan, second base style. Here he is, the man who currently owns second base for the Phillies, Bryson Stott, 147 games, 257 batting average, 13 home runs, 66 RBIs, and a 719 OPS. Committed 3 errors, 91 strikeouts, and 499 at-bats. That's about 18% of the time he struck out. And he's under team control through 2027. Now, Bryson Stott's interesting. Bryson Stott is one of two players that we're going to discuss actually tonight that fall into the same category. And that category is players that are currently still under team control. But the question I have when it comes to Bryson Stott, is he part of the long-term plans of the Philadelphia Phillies? Do you see Bryson Stott signing a long-term contract sometime after 2027 or before that, locking him in as a Philly for the rest of his career? Does he fit that model? Now, again, this is an exercise with me as the GM or president, whatever. And I'm answering the question, no, he does not. I am having a hard time finding a place in the lineup for Bryson Stott, especially with some of the younger players now starting to kind of breathe down his neck from the minor leagues. What do you do with Bryson Stott? He hasn't shown enough progression or maturity at the plate since he's been here through the first 5 seasons. He's regressed in a lot of ways offensively. Defensively, he's one of the top fielding second basemen in the league, and I will give you that. But right now, when I'm looking at this thing long-term, and when I look at giving out long-term contracts in the post-core era and start trying to build the next core of superstar players or players that are going to take us into the 2030s and beyond, is Bryson Stott part of that picture? I don't think he is. I don't see it. And if you kind of look around the Phillies minor league system, there's nobody really at the second base position ready to kind of make their way. So this would be as good a time as any to explore different options at second base, because there are some interesting players available this year at second base. No, he's not. No, he's not. What? Matt, you promised the phone line. Oh, Ricky, man, we'll do it. We'll see. Trade Stott. Luis. I always have problems with that guy's name. Luis Arise. There you go. That's his name. Luis Arise. That's the name. Keep that name in mind there, Ryan. This is a better time. This is as good a time as any to try to move off of Bryson Stott. You might actually be able to get something for him, right? There might be a team out there that's sort of not necessarily there yet, but kind of moving up, that might want to take a shot on Stott. The problem with that, though, is the fact that he only has basically 2 more years of control, and then he becomes a free agent. So it's not going to be it's not going to be easy to move him, but I think you can move him. And I would be 100% ready to move him. And I think that if you look deep, you could possibly move off of him. His glove does speak a pretty big language. His glove is really good. He's a future Gold Glover in this league. But I need somebody a little bit more consistent at the dish. And part of Bryson Stott's struggles, you could potentially attribute to the influence of Rob Thompson, which unfortunately is going to continue in 2026. The up and down the lineups, the not letting him get comfortable anywhere in the lineup and moving him all over the place, has that hurt Bryson Stott? Has that affected him in a negative way offensively? I don't know. But in the purpose of this exercise, MattyB, the president of the Philadelphia Phillies, is going to trade Bryson Stott. Now, I don't have a fictitious trade lined up yet. I'm just going to trade him. So I'm not doing trades as part of this because trades don't fit into this exercise for me because I'm actually trying to deal with things that I can actually grab a hold on. But I am moving them all. I am moving off of Bryson Stott, and in his place, I have two potential candidates. Candidate number one, Mr. Gleyber Torres of the Detroit Tigers, 145 games played last year for the Tigers, 256 batting average, 16 home runs, 74 RBIs, and a 745 OPS, committed 5 errors in the field, struck out 101 times in 532 at bats, which is about the same amount Stott has, 18%, and his market value currently sits at $13 million. Now, Gleyber's a little bit on the older side, right? He would fit a short-term need at second base. I wanted him last year, and they didn't go after him, but he would fit a short-term need at second base. But if I kind of shake Gleyber Torres out in the little Sander thing, I don't know if there's much difference offensively from him than there is from Bryson Stott. I know there's, more age there and more experience, and he's been through it and he's done it and all that. But I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around his age and essentially $13 million. That's no big deal. I can sign a 1-year deal, but I'm looking to kind of lock down second base for at least the next 5 years. And I don't know if I think Gleyber Torres might be a little bit old for that. So that brings me up to my second candidate and my candidate that I am definitely going to pursue, and that is the aforementioned Luis Arraez, formerly of the San Diego Padres, 154 games played for the Padres, 292 batting average, 8 home runs, 61 RBI, 719 OPS, 1 error in 154 games in the field, struck out 21 times in 620 at-bats for a 3% average, market value at $14 million, 28 years old to start the season. I believe that says underneath the banner there, right? He's 28 years old to start the season. This is a guy that I can wrap my head around. One, he provides a contact hitting need. This is a guy that's going to put the ball in the play. I don't care that he hit 8 home runs. I really don't care. I'm not looking for a power hitting second baseman. Absolutely not. Not looking for that. I have a spot for Mr. Arraez in my lineup, and it's batting right behind Trey Turner at number 2. And that's what I'm looking for. I don't need another 8 or 9 hole hitting second baseman. I need somebody I can put up as a table setter in my lineup. And this young man serves that purpose for me. He's a free agent at a $14 million average market value right now. 5-year contract is what I'm looking to give him to kind of lock down second base over the next 5 years. And then hopefully we develop somebody, Brian Racone is one young player that the Phillies have currently in the minor leagues that could make his way up there. Who knows? But this is what I'm doing. I have an opportunity to change the DNA of this baseball team. And this is the first move that I'm going to, or actually the second move I'm making in order to do that through the Major League Baseball ranks. Luis Arraez as my new second baseman, a 5-year deal. Bat him second in my lineup. A lethal, potent punch with my leadoff hitter, which we're going to go to in a second. But this is hands down what I want. Bryson Stott, thank you for your service. Good luck with the rest of your career. I'm just not feeling your progression. You're getting to a point where I need to make a serious decision with second base, and I have not seen enough from you at this point, at this juncture, to legitimately offer you a long-term contract to be my second baseman of the future. I'm going with the older, more offensively dependent Luis Arraez as my new second baseman for the Philadelphia Phillies. You heard it here first on this network, and that's that. Jonathan Smith says Stott has to go. I agree 100%. Papernick says rumor has Schwarber wants 5 years. I heard that too. You ain't getting that here. I'll give you a sleeper name. Yeah, Bregman, too old. Too old. I want him at third base. Bregman's at third, that is. Too old. I don't want Bregman at all. Hell yeah, that's right. Arise. Mr. Arise. I heard the Rockies catcher Hunter Goodman, 2025 All-Star, 278, 31 homers, 91 runs, and I heard he's not available. Unless they're going to trade for him, but he's under team control for the next 5 years. So whoever's trading for him from the Rockies is going to give up half the farm system. I 100% agree. I love Hunter Goodman. He's a great player, great young player. I've coveted him for the last 2 years, 100%. We actually did a review of his baseball card not long ago, Papernick. 100% love this kid, but he's going to cost an arm and a leg to get because he's under team control for like the next 5 years. But let's not get confused and deviated. Luis Arise, my new second baseman, which now brings me to my next position of this baseball team, and that is shortstop. And here is the current occupant right now. Mr. Trey Turner, 141 games, 304 batting average, 15 home runs, 69 RBIs, and an 812 OPS. The 2025 NL batting champ, 8 errors this season committed by Turner at short, his lowest total since 2021, and he's under contract through the year 2033. He's also got the lowest batting average of any NL batting champion in like 50 years, which I saw that somewhere. With all that being said, I wanted Trey Turner to come here. I'm a Trey Turner guy. We're stuck with him. There's absolutely no way we're getting off that contract. You're going to have to ride and die with Trey Turner. And I honestly think now that they've put him in a position, and I'm going to continue leading him off. Again, my new lineup, and I'll give you the first 4 batters in my new lineup because we've already talked about them all. I got Turner leading off. I got Arise batting behind him at second. Harper batting third at DH, and Pete Alonso cleaning up at first base. There's my new top 4 of my new Phillies lineup. I know Trey Turner does struggle in the postseason. His postseasons have not been good at the plate. I give you that 100%. But he's under contract through 2033, and nobody, and no GM, Dave Dombrowski is not that creative. He's not going to be able to move off of Turner. Turner is one of those situations, much like Harper, that you're just going to have to accept. And I can accept Trey Turner. I'd like Trey Turner. I think he's good. He's the batting champ, for God's sakes. He's gotten better defensively. Leave him as a leadoff hitter. Hopefully he can stay healthy, not get hurt and miss 6 weeks again. But I'm okay with sticking with Trey Turner as my leadoff shortstop for at least the time being, at least the next 5 years. So Trey Turner stays. I'm not even going to preview or profile any shortstop candidates because I'm shutting myself down to it. Trey Turner is my guy. I'm staying with him as shortstop, and I'm going to continue to lead him off. Phillies have no catcher right now and no catcher of the future, so go trade for Goodman. I'll get to catcher later on there, Papernick. Trust me, I'm aware of their catcher situation. So Trey Turner is my guy, which now takes us to the hot corner. Another position manned by yet another Philly who's pending a potential long-term contract payday, and that's Mr. Alec Bohm. 120 games played in 2025, a healthy 287 batting average that read like a roller coaster, 11 putrid home runs, 59 terrible, only 59 RBIs, a 74 OPS. He struck out 82 times in 464 at-bats. That's about 17.6% of the time. Only 5 errors at third base for Bohm this year, down from 14 in 2024. He is under team control through next season, but he also posted a 3.33 batting average in the postseason last year, or this past year. Bohm is another one of the Bryson Stott type players. Does Bohm fit into my long-term future at third base? Now, there's an X factor about Alec Bohm that I did not list down on this little graphic, and that's his immaturity. And it once again shone through last season at the end in the playoffs when he sort of jumped on the back of Nick Castellanos and riding that "don't boo us at home" thing. I'm not sold on Bohm in between his ears. I'm not sold on his on his stones, on his balls. I'm not sold on any of that stuff. I think he's got major maturity issues. I think this market is killing him. I think playing for the Philadelphia Phillies in this market is not a place where Alec Bohm needs to play. Alec Bohm is a good baseball player. He is, and he's going to have a good career. It's just not going to be here. And again, I am not prepared, as he will hit free agency at the end of next year, to offer him a long-term contract. So I'm going to find a way to move off of Alec Bohm. At some way or form this offseason, he's going to get traded. I can't live with Alec Bohm anymore. We have crossed a line. He's crossed the line multiple times. And now it's time for us to make a move. Because again, it comes down to dollars and cents, long-term contract versus one more year. And if I'm not going to have him for the future, why am I going to hold on to him in 2026? We're changing the DNA of this team. We're changing all the things that came bad about the DNA of the Phillies. And Alec Bohm's whininess and his immaturity was one of the bad things. So I'm moving off of Alec Bohm. Now let's talk about who I could potentially see as his replacement at third base. I heard Alex Bregman's name mentioned as a potential replacement. There's got also the man that out in Seattle that I've wanted for a long time, Eugenio Suarez. He's going to be a free agent, but he's 34 years old to enter next season. Justin Turner, Jose Iglesias, Miguel Andujar, which is an attractive name. Played for the A's, was traded to the Reds at the trade deadline. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year, or is now. Paul DeJong, Chris Taylor, some of the names out there that are floated around. Listen to the ages: 30, 34, 35, 40, 35, 30, 32, 35. Those are the ages of some of our potential hot third base free agents. Not interested in not one of them. I told you when we started this exercise a few days ago that it's time for me to infuse some of the young talent into this baseball team. And it starts with third base. So right now, in the interim, in the beginning part of 2026, I am giving third base to Otto Kemp. I am turning it over to him to start 2026. Through 62 games, Kemp batted .234 for the Phillies. Of course, those 62 games were two different stints throughout the season. He hit 8 homers, 28 runs batted in for a .709 OPS. He did strike out 67 times in 197 at-bats. That's too high, 34%. He's under team control through 2031, and he also can play just about every position on the diamond. Otto Kemp is not my long-term decision for third base. He is not. But I am going to reward a very strong work ethic and a very strong progression from him over the last 2 baseball seasons. I am making him my starting third baseman. But it's just temporary, because this young man is going to be the permanent fix, and that's Aiden Miller. Aiden Miller, through 116 games with the AA Fighting Phillies and 1 game, or say 115 games with AA and 1 game with Lehigh Valley, batted .296 with 14 homers, 42 runs batted in, and a .921 OPS. Are you kidding me? A .921 OPS? He split time between AA and AAA. He has not even begun his service time yet, and he is a 2023 first-round, 27th overall draft pick of the Phillies. Now, there is one caveat to the Aiden Miller situation. I'm not telling you Aiden Miller is going to be ready on March 26th. I'm not. But he's going to start the season in AAA. I'm okay with Otto Kemp holding down third base until such time that Aiden Miller is ready to take it. Now, defensively, Aiden Miller has actually abandoned playing third base. They started having him go back to third base a little bit this year, but they had him primarily through the younger years of his development in the system playing shortstop for whatever reason. I don't know. But I need Aiden Miller to go back to his God-given position of third base. He will be my third baseman at some point in 2026. And I will obviously turn it over to him for the rest of the time. So I talked about infusing young talent into this team, and it starts with the third base position. Otto Kemp will be my opening day starter at third base. And then at some point, I'm going to turn it over to Aiden Miller. And that, of course, will begin to continue to change the DNA of this baseball team. So there you go, folks. We have moved through the infield. And I've given you who I think who should stay or who should go. So let's recap. Rob Thompson should go. Did not. Bryce Harper should go off of first base to DH. Pete Alonso comes in to replace him. Bryson Stott is to be traded. Luis Ariz will come in and be the new second baseman. I'm staying with Trey Turner. I'm riding and dying with him. Alec Boehm needs to go. And Otto Kemp will take over third base interimly until Aiden Miller is ready to go, hopefully at some point midsummer 2026. And there you have my infield. What are your thoughts so far? It's a pretty, it's a very conversational type of lineup here, I guess. I don't know. I'd rather Boehm over Castellanos if it's one or the other. Bregman always loved him. He's a hitter first, but he's like 75 years old. I'm not paying out any more money. Hell no to Suarez. No. Love Bregman's swing so short. So I'm hearing a lot of talk for Bregman. It's time, Ryan Swope. It's time to infuse youth. It's time to start getting some of these younger players an opportunity to play. And I want change of this team. I do. So far through the infield, I've been pretty solid with MLB talent. Third base is a spot where it needs to start going to the younger players. And we need to start looking at the future there. So there you have my infield. Tomorrow we'll do catcher. And then next week we'll finish it up in the outfield and with the pitching. So there you go. Let's open up them phone lines, folks. Let's get it out there. So if you want to join the conversation, we've unpacked a lot so far. We talked about the Eagles and their struggles. We've also revealed, or I've revealed my infield for 2026 for the Philadelphia Phillies. And anything else you might want to talk about, you can hop in at any time you want right now. But in the interim, let's knock out the Of the Night segment real quick so that I can devote all my attention to you on the other side. All right, the Other Night segment brought to you tonight by the fine folks over at the Clear the Ice, the Flyers postgame show. Tomorrow night, Mike Lauro will have you for the Jets, and I got you for the Wild on Saturday as the Flyers season is beginning to kick into full swing. See if the Flyers can build upon that 1-1-1 start and sneak out a couple more wins. I think these are winnable games here for the Flyers. I really do. And they're also losable too. But yeah, let's see how they can do this weekend. So let's do the Of the Night segment. We are, of course, talking Flyers prospects, and here's one of the hot commodities. We talked Porter Martone was it last week? Maybe a week before that. And tonight we're going to go with the other first-round draft pick of 2025 and the other great hope of this team in the future, and that's Jack Nesbitt, the 6'5", 185-pound centerman who currently plays for the Windsor Spitfires of the Ontario Hockey League. He was, of course, drafted as the second draft first-round pick of the Flyers last year, the second first-round pick. They had two of them. Nesbitt brings a 6'4" frame, 6'5". He's on skates. Defensive abilities and sense. He generates chances by breaking plays on the forecheck with precise stick work and by engaging players with his body, bouncing them off the puck. A definite throwback type of style from a very big centerman who can score. Is he going to go out there and put up 45 goals a game? Probably not. But is he more than a fourth-line centerman? 100%. I would say he probably grades out in this new era of hockey. I don't know, second line, maybe third line. But Nesbitt is definitely part of the future of what the Flyers are looking to do. And thus far through, I believe, 6 games of the Spitfires early season. Let's find it here. Nesbitt is he's potted 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points, and he's sporting a +3 so far through 6 games for the Windsor Spitfires of the Ontario Hockey League. So Jack Nesbitt, the Flyers' first-round pick, their second first-round pick in 2025. Tonight's Flyer prospect spotlight player. I liked the pick there. I thought, honestly, though, I really, Roger McQueen was my number one. I really wanted him. I really did. And I thought they could have probably picked up Martone. Nah, maybe not. Nesbitt was going to be where he was in that draft. So I thought it was a very smart pick. You know, he is that centerman, but he's not. I don't look at him as that, you know, number one centerman. I truly do not look at him that way. He's definitely going to be part of what we're building with the Flyers. But the face of the franchise, 40, 45 goal scorer, no. More of a, how do I comp him to current centers in the league? He's more of a throwback guy. I'm actually, when I look at Nesbitt, I see a lot of a, I don't want to say Tim Kerr, and Kerr was a right winger, but he's got more of a physical side to his play. He's definitely not in the mold of the Celebrinis or the Connor Bernards, you know, the Cutter Gauthiers. He's not in that mold. He's a bigger throwback type style guy, body type wise, and does have a scoring touch. So, but a good pick for the Flyers where he was taken. And it's going to be interesting to see where Nesbitt, how long it takes him to get here. Sucks having to put these guys back down in junior hockey, but that's the way hockey is. But he's a good pick, and I endorse that pick. So Jack Nesbitt, your Flyers prospect player of the night. And let's go on, bring on Ricky Deal. Ricky, how are you tonight?
I'm good.
What's on your mind, Ricky? You want to talk some Phillies, Flyers, Eagles? What do you want? Sixers? What do you want to talk
about? Sixers.
All right, Ricky. Yeah. Let's talk Sixers. You start it, man. What do you want to talk about?
They win this year. And they win.
Now, do you mean can they win the championship this year? Of the National Basketball Association? The whole thing? I wouldn't bet your house payment on it. No. No. I don't see them being much better than they were last year because the same things are going to happen. Embiid will get hurt. George will disappear. Maxey will underperform again. Well, I should say Maxey will underperform. I think Maxey's a very good player. We just overhyped Maxey here. We tried to make him something he's not. He's a very good player, but he's not Allen Iverson reincarnated. He's not any of that. He's a competent. He's more of a Hersey Hawkins, Tanner McKee kind of guy. Not Tanner McKee, Aaron McKee. Aaron McKee kind of guy. Player, but not, you know, again, you're not going to necessarily build a franchise around him, but he's part of something that you're building. So, you know, never say never. If Embiid's knees hold out, if Paul George's whatever holds out, then you go in the DL for like a blister last year. If he stays interested and engaged, I don't know. I don't know, Ricky, but I'm not betting the farm on it. I'm also not really interested in it anymore. You know, I don't know. I can't answer that question, Ricky.
The Flyers gonna win.
Stanley Cup, no. No, they're not. Are they gonna make the playoffs? Take it game by game, Ricky. On the preview show with the Clear the Ice and the Flyers, we did my attitude towards the Flyers is one game, one period, one shift at a time. And we'll see where this thing might go. The Flyers still lack some of the fundamentals of good hockey teams. They don't have a solid goaltender. They don't. Dan Vladar has played well. Sam Erson's played okay. They just don't have solid goaltending, and they don't have enough offense. They really don't. But they're fun, and I don't know how much longer you can be satisfied with just fun until you start wanting to be satisfied with winning. they're going to lose a lot of. I mean, they're giving up on average about 33 shots a game. You can't maintain that before it starts to wear you down. I don't know. One game at a time, Ricky. One game at a time. Anything else on your mind, Ricky?
We bring on Joe.
I'm going to bring on Joe. That's what I'm talking about, Ricky. Always the good friend. Always looking out for your buddy. Ricky, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. It's always a pleasure to interact with you. I'll see you tomorrow night. All right, buddy. The always insightful Ricky Deal. Joe Hale.
How are you?
I'm well, Joe. How are you?
I like your choice at third base, but if we don't get Alonso, right, would you move Otto Kemp to first base?
I really haven't. Again, this whole thing is my fantasy world. In my world, we're getting Alonso. In my world, we get a rise. In my world, we're able to do all the things. We're able to trade Stott and we're able to trade Bohm. I'm not living in reality when it comes to this. I would love to know. They're not going to reveal it tomorrow what their plan is. They're going to give you the word salad of, yeah, we know we got to make some change. But I would love to know what their plan is, honestly. But Otto Kemp is, listen, do I think Otto Kemp is the third baseman of the future? Absolutely not. Could he be a very good bench piece for the Phillies over the next 5 or 6 years? Absolutely, because he can play anywhere, and he's the kind of guy you'd want to keep around. So, I mean, you can look at Otto Kemp as an option in a platoon situation at first, but you're going to have to find somebody. If you're not going to keep Harper there, you need to bring in somebody else. You can't just do a platoon over there. You got to actually bring in another guy.
Okay. I'm going to give you who get my gut feel. So I looked on Phillies.com, and it only says Rob Thompson, and it doesn't say the rest of the coaching staff.
I AI'd it, and they said they have not officially named the coaching staff, but they have not officially said that Kevin Long won't be back. They haven't said those guys are not coming back. I imagine it'll be addressed tomorrow if the coaching staff is coming back. It's probably going to be asked.
Okay.
That'd be my guess.
One more topic. Penn State.
Penn
Yesterday,
State.
I said prime time. You want to know who I think gets it? The Indiana Hoosier coach.
Now that's now that's also if these guys want to come off their programs. This is not the NFL. And I get it. It's Penn State. It's a power conference. It's a power team. But Indiana plays in the Big Ten, and they're starting to be relevant again. I don't know how much of a step up Penn State is from another Big Ten school.
You know who I know more? Mike.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. No, he probably would. I'll defer to Mike Laro's college football expertise over mine. Absolutely.
Here's why I said the Eagles win big. I'm not concerned with J.J. McCarthy or Carson Wentz. I think A.J. Brown has a breakout game. Better than last week.
Were you concerned about Bo Nix?
Huh?
Were you concerned about Bo Nix? Realistically, were you concerned about Bo Nix?
Bo Nix is absolutely... Bo Nix is better than the Giants quarterback.
But my point is, when we were getting ready to play the Broncos, were you concerned about Bo Nix?
Yes.
Were you concerned about Jackson Dart?
Yes. But
okay.
I'm not concerned about J.J. McCarthy. He's injury prone.
Carson Wentz.
We know what Carson Wentz can do.
No, I hear you. Again, 50-50 going into this game. 50-50 chance. It depends on if the defense can hold up. Don't forget, Eagles defense lately has been making some quarterbacks look pretty good lately. Bo Nix looked very good against them, and Jackson Dart, with his mobility, tore the Eagles apart. Now, JJ McCarthy's not that mobile. Carson Wentz, of course, is not that mobile. So yeah, I mean, there's a chance, but there's a chance a lot of things can happen. And AJ Brown having a big game. Yeah, we've been saying that for 7 weeks now. We've been wishing for that. Let's go. He's going to have the big game. He's going to have the big game. He's going to have the big game.
I have Jalen Hurts on my fantasy, and I had Jordan Love, and I started Jalen Hurts last week. I didn't know Jalen Hurts had more yards than Jordan Love.
All passing yards or all purpose yards?
All purpose yards.
Yeah. How many points did he give you on fantasy?
Who, Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
38.
Yeah, I got 36 from Mahomes. Listen, fantasy stats, Jalen Hurts is the man. No, I'll give you that. He's a fantasy quarterback that you look for because he doesn't throw interceptions and he runs.
I've got 33 points. The Flyers spotlight guy reminds me of a young John LeClaire.
Not 6'5", but yeah, I get you. He does have that physical presence, and I can definitely see him playing that type of game. Absolutely. That's a good point. That's a very good point. What else, Joe? Come on, it's your dime. Running out. What's up?
I think the Flyers go in this little free game winning streak.
I wouldn't be surprised. If they came out of this weekend with wins over Winnipeg and the Wild, I wouldn't be surprised about it. You're probably going to get Vladar starting tomorrow. You're going to have to see Urson at some point. But
could it be Urson tomorrow? Because Bedard played.
Yeah, but Vladar's also had 3 nights off. So okay, I don't know what his rotation and how he's doing it, but it shouldn't be a matter of rest. What's that?
Because he played Monday. It was Bedard.
Yeah, so you have Tuesday, Wednesday. You have 2 days off. So I mean, you could go with Urson. Yeah.
They moved Lachenko down to the 4th line.
Saw that. You know,
and
Lachenko down the 4th line.
Up on a top power play with Drysdale.
Yep, they moved Couturier up to number 1 line. Yep, that's very interesting. Lachenko playing on the 4th line. 1st round draft pick, 13th overall. You know, is he better suited on the 4th line than playing in the AHL?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes, because experience helps him big time.
Yeah, we'll see. You might be right. I don't know. It's a question. I know it's better off than him playing in junior hockey, but is playing on the 4th line, the bottom line with the Flyers, what he needs right now in terms of growing confidence and getting better. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Put Tocchet on the ice. Tocchet is on the ice with the team, unlike Tortorella was. Tocchett's more hands-on.
He's a player's coach, former player himself. Yeah.
So
it's a day-by-day process with this hockey team. It truly is. And like I said to Ricky, everyone. I've been asked this question a million times. Where are the Flyers? Are they a playoff team? They're not winning the cup. I think we all can agree to that. But whether or not they're a playoff team or not, I'm not going to project out. I'm just taking it one game at a time. And
I want to disagree with Ricky. Sixers are not winning a championship.
You got to love the blind faith. I'm sure Pat Bernard probably has the same thing.
No, Pat thinks they're going to win it.
I mean, I heard Charles Barkley say, if the Sixers can stay healthy, if Joel Embiid stays on the floor, if Paul George stays engaged, they might come out of the East. I don't think they're winning. They're not beating anybody in the West if they even find their way out of the East. This is a team that won, 23 games last year? All the injuries, no one playing. I don't know, man.
I'd love to pick up of Quentin Grimes, to resign him over 1 year.
Yeah, he's a G Leaguer guy. He's okay.
So, who else is going to do this Sixers post game? Is it just going to be Pat and his internet holds up?
Yeah, if it's just going to be Pat with his internet trying to hold up. I don't know if you'll never see me on that thing. I guarantee you.
I want to see Eagles post game a lot more.
But I'm giving some time to the other guys to jump on because with having a show on, what's that?
To back up what they say against you.
What?
I want to see you on PM and AM, surprise everybody.
We'll work something out like that. I don't like getting involved in shows like that because I don't want to troll them. I mean, they have the ability to speak their own minds.
Mike, that he did to Pat when his first day back with the internet.
Well, yeah. I mean, to each his own. Listen, I am going to try to get on PN and the AM. Sunday mornings are tough for me, but I'm going to try to get on Sixers or Eagles post game. Yeah, I'll pop on a few of them. But I got to give the other guys reps too. They got to hone their skills as well.
And when is the Phillies year in review coming out with you and that?
So we've done that. Typically, it's a pre-recorded deal that we do, and we air it on Thanksgiving Day. We'll probably do it the day before Thanksgiving or the Monday. I know last year we did it. Was it live?
It was live last.
Was live last year. I know the year before that it was when we were still in EOP. I know that was pre-recorded. It'll be around that time of Thanksgiving, and whether it's live or pre-recorded, I guess we're still sort of figuring that out. But
or a week before, it'd be cool. A week before free agency opens up.
Well, that's like next week. Free agency opens up 5 days after the end of the World Series. No, we're gonna let free agency play out. I purposely stretch it out. We typically do it right before the winter meetings, and that's of course when the big names start to fall. But around that Thanksgiving time frame is when it'll be done.
Is the winter meetings in Philly? And that's my last question because the draft is in Philly.
No, the winter meetings I believe are out west. They're in LA, I think, this year.
Okay.
Yeah, but all right, Joe. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, brother. Have a good night. All right, Joe Hell, and let's bring in Ryan Swope. Ryan, how you doing?
Hello.
What's going on, man? How's your night going?
Oh, good. Just got back. I was out with some people.
Yeah, did you have a good time?
Yeah, with a running club.
No, that sounds like a great way to spend the night, Ryan. So, what do you think of my projected Phillies infield for 2026?
Like, see, when it comes to Alec Boehm, he is the kind of player in a way that I want, obviously. But the thing is, he is too streaky of a hitter. And the immaturity, yeah. But I just think, like, I honestly got to say, I don't know if I want Alonso.
So I'm taking Alonso because I'm saying goodbye to Schwarber, and I do have to replace that bat. I got to replace that.
I don't want Schwarber back either.
Right.
But Alonso, see, I think Alonso, he's not that good of a defensive fielder. He's pretty bad as far as I know, right?
Well, he's not as bad as Rhys Hoskins, but he's not as good as Bryce Harper. He's sort of in the middle of Harper and Hoskins, which Harper's not that good either, but they're kind of in the middle of those two.
But the thing is, with Alonso versus Schwarber, he doesn't have as high of a on base percentage, So like Alonso getting rid of that on base percentage, but the thing is, I don't want Schwarber back either because he's a 1 or nothing guy. He's only a home run guy.
Yep, but Alonso does have some ability. I mean, Alonso's RBI production was similar to Schwarber's. Alonso was down on home runs by about 20, but his OPS I think is a little bit higher, and he makes contact. Schwarber does strike out a lot, and also I am not paying $50 million a year for a player in his mid-30s to be my friggin' DH. I can't do it. And he's part of the nucleus of this. He is part for all his greatness in 2025. And I'm thanking him for a wonderful season and all the home runs he gave us throughout his time here. He is part of the losing, unbalanced, unstructured lineup that we got to move off of and change some things. It's nothing personal. I mean, it ain't, but if I can pick up a Pete Alonso, because Schwarber gives you nothing defensively, Alonso gives you more than Schwarber does defensively, and then you can plug and play Harper around, maybe put him in right field for a game or put him back on first base for a game. I get what you're saying. Alonso's also younger than Schwarber, and he's going to come cheaper than Schwarber will. I guarantee you that.
You think so?
Yeah, he's not asking for $50 million a year. I mean, and that's not
like
Ohtani can set his price off of what Schwarber. Pete Alonso better not be trying to set his asking price off of what Schwarber's going to get.
I think Alonso is going to get more than Schwarber, no doubt about it.
We'll
think he is. But
I think also Alonso wants to win. I think he's at a point in his career where he wants to play for a team that's got a legit shot to win a World Series.
Like, I've always loved Alex Bregman, but like you said, he's older. But when he was a Houston Astro, I was like, I want this guy on my team. I want this guy on my team because he doesn't strike out as much. Like he rarely strikes out. And I've always loved his swing. It's such a short swing. when it comes to players, I look at that kind of stuff too. Like that's like why I honestly did not want Bryce Harper when he came here, because I'm like, in a few years, this guy's swing is going to be, his swing is going to ruin him, and he's going to be so tired out, and he's going to be broken down so much. I got to be honest, that was the big reason why I wanted Machado, only because of the swing over Harper at the time, because I like Machado's swing. And so, but the thing is with this Phillies team, like we talked about constantly, is we need more contact. We need more discipline. We need players that shorten their swings, choke up, go with the pitch. And it's just like, I hope that's something that's brought up tomorrow. We need it. We need a lineup that makes contact, that has hitters. Yes, we need power, but I don't want the power to be the only thing we go for and what we want as a team, because power will come, but you don't have to rely only on power. You need hitters that know how to go with the pitch, shorten their swing, runners in scoring position. And it's just been the issue. Like, you and me agree so much on this. It's
No, you're right.
And the thing is, we need that as a lineup.
No, you're right, Ryan. You're right. And the third base situation for me, again, it kind of fits in the same thing with Stott. I just don't see Bohm and Stott being long-term pieces for this team. And they're coming to a point where we got to start looking at that, because both of them are getting to the end of their initial 7-year hit. So if I can move off of them now, I have Aiden Miller warming up in the bullpen. Yeah, I mean, he was brought here as a third baseman. They converted him to a shortstop. They've been working with him at short for years, but they started working him back on third base last year in Double-A and Triple-A. Well, the one game he played in Triple-A, but I still think that Aiden Miller, that's his position in the future. And I'm okay with Otto Kemp holding down the fort for a few months in 2026 before Aiden Miller can get here. And
I don't know if the Phillies will do that, though, because you know how much they want. Oh, we want that extra year of hold. We want to. I know. And so coming halfway through the year, I just don't see that. I hope you're right, but I love
once you get past about the end of June, you got to get 75 games into the season. Once you get past that 75 game mark, doesn't count. The service year doesn't count that year. So if they can hold off that long, then they can work him in.
And I love the Larissa Rise, as I said, like earlier and last night. I love that, because we need that too. Not just guys that are run producers, that are contact hitters and discipline, and not just about home runs, but even true professional hitters like Larisse that might not walk and strike out much, but he makes contact. He's a professional hitter. And I think of, like, he might not be as good, but I think of Polanco when it comes to that, like that kind of guy. And then getting to the Eagles now. See, I know we're going to say that Jalen Hurts has started to pass a lot, and he started passing down the field. But when it came back like a month ago and all that, when the media kept saying he needs to pass more, or when us fans kept saying he needs to pass more, that does not necessarily mean he has to pass 40 times, 35 times, 30 times a game. What we meant was he just needs to pass downfield more, like maybe 8 to 10 times a game. We're seeing that. But the thing is, I think he's like let that pressure to him now all of a sudden, and even Patullo thinking that all we mean is just pass, and turn away from the run game. That's not it at all. He just needs to be able to pass downfield more throughout the game and mix it up. Yeah, stop only doing those short passes and 5 to 10 yard passes. I'm not saying totally abandon that, but throughout the game, mix in more passes downfield, and keep doing the short passes too, but don't just rely on that, and run the ball too a lot. But we go from one extreme to the other, or they think we mean when we pass downfield, or pass. We just mean pass all the time and then stop with the run. We don't mean that. We just mean pass downfield more, mix it in, mix it up, and stop being so one-dimensional. Keep running the ball, keep short passings, but you got to include passes downfield too, because we see over the years when all we see is short passes with Hurts, and that's the only reason why he only gets 150 yards, or even 100, between 100 and 150, 100 yards and 150. He never gets a lot of yards per game, because All he does is those short, quick passes. So stop with just the short passes. I'm not saying totally abandon it, but you got to include more passes downfield too throughout the game, but also keep running the ball too with the running backs. So we need to mix it up. We need to mix it up and stop being so one dimensional or so predictable. So when we all say we need to pass the ball, you got to pass downfield too. You got to mix it up. You got to be able to see those guys downfield, but don't abandon the run too. You got to do that also, and we got to do those short passes because Brown's good with those short passes and turning them into big yardage.
Listen, as far as the Jalen Hurts pay, you're right. I'm not going to. The balance definitely needs to come to this lineup. But the question I always throw back at people when they say that Jalen needs to throw the ball down the field a little bit more, or just needs to throw the ball. You mentioned the 5-yard passes and all that. Why is he not throwing the ball down the field? And it's an enigma. It's a question that has been asked for years. And I have to go with the fact that he's now worked with Sirianni. This is his fourth year with Sirianni. You would think that Nick Sirianni, for all what he is, would have an idea of what type of passer Jalen Hurts is by now. And I go back to last season when they were trying to sort of, I don't want to use the word force the ball down the field, but they were more of a pass attack offense through those first 4 games. And it wasn't working. Hurts was turning the football over too much. He was having too hard of a time reading defenses, holding on to the ball too long. All those fundamental things that we've talked about Jalen Hurts over the years, he was doing, and that led to the change in offensive philosophy with the Saquon Barkley run first mantra, which led to a Super Bowl, and allowing Jalen Hurts to throw when needed, but not have to rely on him to throw. Now you're seeing another reverse back where Saquon's not getting the yards. Now they're relying on Jalen Hurts to try to get the ball down the field and win football games. And I don't think Jalen Hurts is that type of quarterback. When you put him in a situation like that, you're setting him up for failure because of whatever his issues with the holding on the ball too long, not being able to read defenses, forcing stuff. You saw the forced interception last week. That was a terrible decision for him to throw that ball in that situation. But those are the things that I think Sirianni wants to keep him away from. And unfortunately, with either the offensive line, Saquon, the combination of the two, Padula, you can throw him in there. They're now having to go back because the running attack is so bad.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you don't have to do it constantly throughout the game, but you should be able to at least pass it between 8 to 10 times throughout the game downfield. I'm not saying only rely on that, but you ought to be able to mix in that 8 to 10 times throughout the game. But I'm not saying totally start passing downfield like we've been doing recently. We've just totally done that. But I'm not saying do that totally to start doing that, which they have done, which is a mistake. And they've taken it to the extreme. I'm saying just throughout the game, include 8 to 10 passes downfield, but I'm not saying to the extreme. Sorry, I'm repeating myself, but
no, that's fine.
I'm saying and start. But you got to be able to do 20 runs a game, 20 to 25 runs a game too with the running backs.
Yeah, you do.
And then do some of those short passes too. But I'm saying mix it all up. What they've done is they think we mean just keep doing it, and that's been their problem because they've taken it to the extreme and make Hurts totally rely on doing that. No, mix it all up and do a balance of everything. But keep running the ball.
I mean, though, right? You see what I mean about Hurts holding on to the ball and not being able to read defenses has been a problem with him. And maybe it's to a point where Sirianni wants to take it away from him and leave him in that 5 to 10, 15-yard range instead of those deeper throws down the field at all.
Only?
Well, it's a great question to ask Sirianni, but it seems that way, doesn't it, though? If you look at them, it seems that's what they're doing.
And I feel like after that last week, after that interception, bad pass, I feel like Hurts is going to get scared again, and we're not going to see any of them. I feel like he's going to get scared now all of a sudden, because of that bad interception, and now we won't see him pass downfield again. I don't know, but I feel like because he does all those short passes all the time, that's only why he gets 100 to 150 yards per game. But if we would see more of those passes downfield, 8 to 10 of them per game, he would be getting 220 yards every game, But I don't care if he never gets 300 yards, 250 yards. But as a quarterback, and with these receivers and how great we are as a team with these players, he should be able to get 220 yards a game on 20 to 25 passes. But I'm saying again, 8 to 10 passes downfield, but still steal those short passes too. But you got to be able to run the ball too. Don't just only be one thing or one extreme or the other, like he did 40 passes last week. That's ridiculous. We don't mean to do that. We just say include everything, more downfield, mix it up, keep running the ball too. And then, like, the thing is, we saw a couple weeks ago when he was forced to have to come back in the game, we saw his ability. And it seems like they only do it in pressure situations. If they're down in the game, he will show his greatness and glimpses because he's forced to. That's the only way we'll be able to come back. Or in the first half, a couple weeks ago, he had a great first half, and then it was totally abandoned, and we didn't see it again. So it's like we got to have 4 quarters of great play, but we got to mix it up. Don't just pass it downfield. Don't just short pass down. Short. You got to be able to run it too. You got to mix in everything.
So the Eagles have averaged as a team 8 points in the second half. They're averaging 8 points in second halves of football in 2025. 8 points. 8. Now, you're referencing the Rams game where they were down big in the first half, and then Jalen Hurts led the comeback back. How much of that was Jalen Hurts, and how much was that was the Rams allowing Jalen Hurts to throw those big chunk plays, keeping the ball in front of them and winding that clock? I think there's a lot more on the Rams side of things, allowing those patterns to open up because they wanted to try to keep the ball in front of them. So I'm not going to give Jalen Hurts credit completely for that comeback. Ultimately, he led the comeback, but I think there was more passing lanes available for him in that Rams game, and especially in the second half. So to me, it comes down to quarterback fundamentals. To me, it come down to the fact that Nick Sirianni is protecting his quarterback, and you got to give credit to Sirianni. Jalen Hurts is not what we think he is. He's not. Mm-hmm. He's an above average game manager who really benefited along with the defense and Saquon Barkley last year. So, I mean, we can talk it all night long, and I'm sure we will in future times. But I agree with fundamentally what you're saying. Give him an opportunity to throw the ball. Me and Kyle talked about this a few weeks ago in the Birds Blast. Even if he throws the ball downfield and it gets intercepted, it could work as a punt. Big deal. Who cares? It's far enough downfield, whatever, it flips the field. So you're absolutely right. There is no excuse for them not to allow Jalen Hurts to throw the ball downfield, but not overcompensate. Maybe perhaps not. Now, how much of that is on A.J. Brown, trying to keep him under control? How much is on that, too?
Yeah. And then do you think with Howie Roseman, do you think he's like an every other year guy? Like, for instance, this year is our middle year. It's like we'll be so good, and then like we have to get rid of free agents. We can't afford them. We have to maybe get under the salary cap or keep the cap at even balance so we don't overdo it, and then maybe draft good guys and include them more in the lineup and rookies. But then the following year he will make big moves. It's like an every other year thing, but then the sandwich year in between, he just does that 1 year thing where he makes more rookies be involved that year, and then the next year he'll make big free agent moves. It seems like that's how he is, like, because he wants to keep it the salary cap or not get over. You know what I mean?
It's like kicking the can down the road. He kicks the can down the road with the money, and this year was one of those years. Listen, Ryan, I said all during the offseason, this was not the offseason plan I expected from the defending Super Bowl champions, to get rid of all your veteran, like 6 veteran contributors on defense and Mekhi Becton on offense. They got rid of those guys. That's not how you go back and defend the title. And I kept getting the pushback. Well, he ran it back in 2018 and it didn't work. Yeah, but the players in 2017 were not the same type of veterans that were in 2024. Okay, we're talking about Chris Long, Jay Ajayi. We're talking about guys that were on the end of their careers. Josh Sweat's not at the end of his career. All right, Mekhi Becton's not at the end. These guys were different types of veterans. I thought it was a mistake to do it. Why he did it, as you mentioned, is it because we needed the money? Potentially, yes. But if that's correct, and he's taking a own personal in-between year mulligan to sort of alleviate salary cap and be able to pay people in the future, you had an opportunity, you still do, You have an opportunity to start a dynasty with Philadelphia Eagle football if they can win a Super Bowl. If they win a Super Bowl this year, there's no doubt in my mind it's an Eagles dynasty. I don't understand why you would mortgage that opportunity to give the dominance and to give the Eagle fans what they deserve is to live in an Eagle dynasty by, again, kicking that can down the road. I just have a problem with the way he attacked the offseason. And the draft picks have not worked. The ones that he was keeping on the sidelines, the Ringos of the world, the Jalix Hunts of the world. Does Jeremiah Trotter Jr. even still play for the Philadelphia Eagles? Does he even dress on Sundays? I mean, they're getting nothing from them. And then you got Zach Bond. I mentioned this also in the offseason. How much of Zach Bond's success in 24 was off the backs of Brandon Graham, Jalen Carter, Sweat, and that secondary playing behind him, Slay and CJ, GJ, and Cooper and Quinion? How much of his success was off of their backs versus his own natural ability? And you're seeing so far a major regression from Zach Bond in 2025. So I had a problem philosophical with the entire plan of the offseason.
Yeah, I didn't understand not re-signing Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah.
That was the biggest one I did not understand, because why would you bring the guy and then like the Colts? I never understood, because of those off-field trouble things. But then he brought him in and then sat 1 year and then let him go under us. We didn't even have to pay him. I don't think we didn't really pay him at all.
It was the Colts paid him like $3 million or $4 million this year.
And then we could afford it. That what did he only get? 2 years, 11, 12 million? What did he get?
Like that. Yep. It's like 12 million for 2 years. Yeah, something like that.
I never understood why we did not bring that back. He worked out so well here, and then the thing is, with Milton Williams, I feel like Jalen Carter made Milton Williams look and got all that money because of how much double coverage Jalen Carter gets, and now he gets one of the biggest contracts in history.
Yeah.
You can really give all that support to Jalen Carter, helping him get that.
Absolutely. And again, you got Jalen Carter up there on that line, and he's by himself. No more Milton Williams, no more Brandon Graham, no more Josh Sweat. And Jalen Carter is a beast, but he can't do it by himself. Jordan Davis is, had that really good interception rundown play where he got a guy, but I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'm not really. Again, I've said it. This has got 2023 written all over it for me this season.
Oh yeah,
and we'll see how it plays out. But Ryan, I'm gonna let you go, man. Thank you for coming in tonight. I hope to see you again tomorrow night.
I hope to hear you go in with Dave Dombrowski tomorrow to be able to ask some questions and be able to be on the line. I'm looking forward to hearing you.
Yeah, I'll be at that press conference. Maybe one day, not tomorrow, but hopefully one day soon. All right, Ryan. Have a good night, man. All right, Ryan Swope. Thank you very much. Yeah, I love to be on that press conference. Ooh. All right, guys. Phone lines are still open, by the way, if you want to get in the last minute. We're going to get into our last segment of the night. But before I do that, I want to also remind everybody that on this show right here, the Final Word MattyB, we are going to a new scheduling format starting on November the 9th. This show will come off of its 10 o'clock start time and go down to a 9 o'clock start time. So we're going to be Sunday through Thursdays at 9 p.m. starting on November the 9th. And there's our little new graphic, as you can see, the 9 p.m. Eastern time there. So make sure that you're aware of that. In about 2 weeks, we're going to make that switch. So getting into our winter hours here on the program. And then we'll probably flex back to 10 o'clock sometime in the late spring, late winter next year to get ready for the summer. So here we go. Let's get our final segment of the night. My favorite. All right, yeah, MattyB's card review. My favorite part of the day. This is the part of the show where we take one of my cards and we just have some fun talking about it. Last night we went all the way back to 1990 and Fleer with the Lenny Dykstra card. Talked about that nostalgic flavor of that card for me. Worth absolutely nothing but one of the cards that I definitely look at with a lot of warm feelings of my youth. I guess not my youth. I was what, 20? How old was I in 1990? I was 17. I was 17 in 1990. So my almost adulthood. But tonight we're going back into the modern age of baseball cards. We're going to 2018 Topps Update Series. And perhaps when they released this card, they knew what they were doing. This was a card that captured two different generations of Japanese superstar players the best two Japanese players to ever play in Major League Baseball to date. And they decided to capture this moment and make a baseball card out of it. So let's talk about the 2018 US 153 Topps Update Series card titled Japan's Finest. And you guessed it, it's a dual card featuring Ichiro and Shohei Ohtani. Now, what makes this card uber valuable, obviously, is that you have a future, now current Hall of Famer in Ichiro, and this is Ohtani, a pitcher from his rookie year. It's not his rookie card, but it is like a rookie baseball card. It's from his rookie season of 2017, and they are appearing on a baseball card together. This was an insert they did in 2018 of like catchy little phrases like best friends reunite, get off my base. Cards that they did these things throughout the whole set, the whole series of Topps that year. There's a bunch of them that we'll probably go through. I know there's, I think Ohtani's featured in a couple of them, as well as I know Freddie Freeman and Altuve are in one. And anyways, and they've done these types of cards throughout the years. Topps has, but they definitely knew what they were doing when they put a Japan's Finest card together. Currently, this is a base card, and there is a parallel. There is a refractor version of this. There's a chrome version of this card floating around out there somewhere. But this is his base card. And right now, this card as a PSA 10 is worth about $50. As a PSA 9, it's worth about $30. This is for a base baseball card. You know, no bells, no whistles, just a no frills base level card from the 2018 Topps Update Series. Japan's Finest, Ohtani and Ichiro. Definitely a must-have card for any collection. You can look for it. I'm lucky enough to have one. I am currently trying to sell it. We'll see if I get any takers for it, but I may pull it off because this I have a funny feeling that this card could definitely go into the upper dollar figures as the years go by. Really smart looking card, the way it's laid out. Of course, Topps using the entire front of the card that year as its background. No borders at all, just the entire card. And yeah, Japan's Finest, a really, really cool baseball card. Definitely a must for everybody's collection. And here is mine right here. There's Ichiro and Ohtani together. And a little background information on both of them on the back. So the only time they've appeared on a baseball card together it was in 2018, was this card right here. So there you are. Very cool card. Very cool for any collection to have. Japan's Finest featuring Shohei Ohtani as a rookie and Ichiro Suzuki as not a rookie in 2018. So there you go. MattyB's card review. That's a fun card, man. Those are the types of cards that you kind of live for when you collect. But there you have it. Ichiro and Ohtani together. So let's take a look at, let's go on the comments one at a time. Good point, Ryan. Ryan went on and on about Jalen Hurts and being balanced with the offense. I agree with the point in its theory. They do need to be more balanced. But when I look at the balance of what the Eagles are, and I've said this multiple times, the one constant about the offensive personality, I don't want to say identity because apparently they're still looking for their identity, and which is ridiculous. But the one constant about the offensive personality throughout all of Nick Sirianni's days here have been the offensive personnel. Yeah, we've changed coordinators like we're changing underwear. I'll give you that. But we haven't changed the personnel for the most part. You know, the offensive line's always been built up to be this great Stoutland U product. You had Jalen Hurts, elite quarterback, whatever you want to call it, and two very, very good wide receivers, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So that's always been there. But also has always been the struggle about trying to find a balance and not putting Jalen Hurts in a position to turn the football over or to make poor decisions with the ball, which he has a tendency to do more so than any other elite quarterback that I know. So hence, after the struggles of 2023, and yeah, I'll talk about the 10-1 in 2023. They were fluky wins a win type of games, the majority of them. I don't remember all of them, but most of them were like that. Then the wheels came off and everything fell apart at the end. And then when we started 2024, and again, we have short memories about stuff like this, but that's okay. That's why I'm here, is to keep you guys grounded. We started 2024 in that same offensive philosophy with allowing Jalen Hurts to try to win games with his arm, maybe not being as balanced as you could have been with the pass, and it wasn't working. 2-2 into the bye week. They scrapped the passing attack and went to a run-heavy attack. Now, I don't know this answer. I don't know the balance question about whether or not the offense was more balanced with a run-heavy attack, or was it more run-heavy, which it probably was. And it's supported by this stat that I talk about a lot lately, and I'll bring it right back up here, is the Saquon Barkley effect from 2024. The Eagle offense mustered 6,242 total yards last year and 53 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley's contributions to that overall offense was 2,283 yards and 15 touchdowns. That's Saquon accounting for 7% of the total Eagles offense and 28% of all their touchdowns. Now, some of that with Saquon was passing yards, and I'll give you that. But were they really balanced when they went run heavy? No. But they were putting Jalen Hurts in more manageable situations with the football because they didn't need to rely on him to even think about throwing the ball down the field. Now, I agree with Ryan. I agree with Kyle Quinn. Let the guy throw the ball down the field. But for some odd reason, they either go painfully low on throws down the field or they overcompensate. And I think the A.J. Brown effect with the overcompensation is a real thing. They're overcompensating, so they want A.J. Brown to have a tantrum on the sidelines. They're doing stuff like that in order to keep him in check. I don't know if that's how you go about winning a Super Bowl. But if you're going to rely, bottom line is, if you're going to have to rely on Jalen Hurts and his arm to win you football games, you're not going to win a Super Bowl. You're just not. He's just not that kind of quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback, but he's not the type of quarterback that's going to win you a game with his arm consistently. He needs help. And he's not getting it right now from the rest of the team. So, whole third of the season left to go. But it starts again on Sunday. And it's one of those must-win situations. Can the Eagles really lose the game on Sunday? Go 4-3 and then have the game before the bye against the Giants, and God forbid lose that one and enter the bye 4-4. I don't know, man. Good show as always. Thank you, Joe Hale. And the Eagles won. Okay. But we'll talk more tomorrow, because tomorrow at 5 o'clock, make sure you're back here on the It's Rap Sports Network, because me and Kyle Quinn will be bringing you the Birds Blast as we will talk Giants. And we're also going to talk Broncos, because I haven't had a chance to talk to Kyle about the Broncos yet. And we're going to preview the Minnesota Vikings. So all that around 5 o'clock tomorrow, typically at 7, but we're going at 5 due to some scheduling conflicts with Kyle. And then all the great programming tomorrow night on the network. One last time, here's a gander at the schedule. I'll put it up right there. Tomorrow, the Steel City post-game show, which will be going on around the same time that I'm on the air with the Birds Blast, but I have no choice. So Steel City pregame show at 4:45-ish. 5 o'clock is the Birds Blast. 8 o'clock is the Gridiron Weekly, and then post-game Clear the Ice Flyers and Jets. And then me at 10, and then the post-game Steelers at 11:30-ish time frame. So big day on the network tomorrow and a big weekend coming up. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I will see you tomorrow around dinner time. So until then, take care.